Now, James chapter 3, verse 18. Reading from the King James Bible, quote, "And the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace of them that make peace," unquote. Reading from the English Standard Version, quote, "And a harvest of righteousness is sown in peace by those who make peace," unquote. Young's Literal Translation, quote, "And the fruit of righteousness in peace is sown to those making peace," unquote. I was reading several other translations of this, and a paraphrase of this verse, and I noticed that even though it doesn't look like they're too far off or basically just rewording it, they are off on several of these things that are indicated. Let's look at the parsing of this verse. And the fruit. The Greek word used for the fruit, definition of it means of Christian charity. And the fruit of righteousness is sown. The fruit, the Greek word is used one time by James, is sown. This Greek word is sown by James one time in the King James Bible. We do find it being used several different times. Let me read you the first one. Mark chapter 4, verse 15, quote, "And these are they by the wayside, where the word is sown. But when they have heard, Satan cometh immediately, and taketh away the word which was sown in their hearts." Paul uses it again in 1 Corinthians 15:42, quote, "So also is the resurrection of the dead. It is sown in corruption, it is raised in incorruption," unquote. Now, the Greek word for is sown is written in present tense, so now, passive voice, so it represents the subject as being the recipient of the action, indicative mood, so it is talking about the fact, is sown in peace. The Greek word for of them that make is used by James one time. It is also only used in the King James Bible in the Greek one time, and it is in the present tense, so now. Active voice represents the subject as the doer, the performer of the action, and a participle which either has an ing or a to. So of them, so two of them, to, of them that make. So continuing, peace of them that make peace. Now let's look at John Gill's commentary of the Bible on James chapter 3, verse 18, quote, "And the fruit of righteousness," unquote, "which is either eternal life, which is the fruit of Christ's righteousness, and shall be enjoyed by all those who are justified by it, and who in consequence of it, though the grace of God, live soberly, righteously, and godly." See Romans chapter 6, verse 22, quote, "And now being made free from sin, and become servants to God, ye have your fruit unto holiness, and the end everlasting life," unquote. Continuing, "Or else what is enjoyed in this life as the fruit and effect of a righteous and holy conversation, which is peace of conscience, and may be truly called the peaceable fruit of righteousness." See Isaiah chapter 32, verse 17, quote, "And the work of righteousness shall be peace, and the effect of righteousness quietness and assurance forever," unquote. Continuing on, quote, "Is sown in peace of them that make peace," unquote. That is, either such as are possessed of that wisdom which is peaceable, and makes them so, that peace which they make, pursue after, exercise, and maintain, is a seed which, being sown by them, will in the issue be followed with eternal happiness and felicity. See Matthew 5, verse 9, quote, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they should be called the children of God," unquote. Continuing, or such who live a godly life and conversation and are filled with the fruits of righteousness, and among the rest, with this of making and preserving peace among men, shall enjoy as what will spring up from such good seed sown, much conscience, peace, and spiritual pleasure of mind. Righteousness and peace promise a large and comfortable harvest, both here and hereafter. This ends John Gill's commentary on James chapter 3, verse 18.